Hey everyone, let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer, where we're breaking down what is absolutely, undeniably the ultimate entry ticket to a career in cybersecurity. Look, whether you've spent time working in IT support, maybe you've helped a friend troubleshoot their sketchy home router, or you've just found yourself watching the news wondering how do hackers actually get in, well, you already have the most crucial ingredient, and that's curiosity. Today, we're going to channel that curiosity into something super actionable. We're going to look at the CompTIA Security Plus SY0 701 certification. I'm going to map out exactly what this credential is, why it's your key to a really exciting new career, and how you can prep for it without spending a single dime. So let's get started.
Think about this quote for a second. Every time you hear about a data breach on the news, someone's job was to prevent it. That is the high-stakes reality of the world we live in right now. When a massive company gets hacked, it's not just some faceless corporate glitch. It's an event that real humans are tasked with stopping. This is all about the people on the actual front lines of digital defense.
Because there's a huge difference between what the public sees and what actually goes down. On one side, you have the public fallout, right? The CEO sweating and apologizing on camera, the lawyers frantically scrambling to draft notification letters. But on the flip side, there's the actual job. It's the person whose responsibility was configuring those firewall rules, monitoring the network alerts, patching that vulnerability before some attacker could exploit it. It's about making all the right moves in that crucial 45-minute window between detection and containment. And that person, they hold, or, well, they really should hold, a Security Plus certification.
And taking on that level of responsibility, it comes with a serious financial reward. We aren't just talking about hypothetical numbers here. Security Plus certified professionals are earning anywhere between $70,000 and $110,000 a year. And obviously that depends on your specific role, your location, and your prior experience. Plus, if you step into government or defense roles, there are often massive premium pay bumps just because of the security clearance requirements. The money here is very, very real. Actually, scratch that, it gets even better. 0%. Yep, you heard that right. That is the cybersecurity unemployment rate, and it's basically hovered right near zero for years now. This isn't just some temporary tech bubble that's going to burst. This is a massive structural shortage. There are literally just way more open positions than there are qualified people to fill them. And pretty much every projection out there says this trend is going to continue right through to 2035.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, the cybersecurity entry ticket. Then, decoding the 5 domains. Third, thinking like a defender. And finally, your free AI mentor.
All right, part 1, the cybersecurity entry ticket. Listen, as we head toward 2026, you really can't get hired for a foundational cybersecurity job without this credential. More than literally any other entry-level security cert out there, employers are asking for Security Plus by name. It is heavily filtered by HR software on job boards way before a human even glances at your resume. On top of that, the Department of Defense actually requires it for any Information Assurance Technical or IAT Level 2 role. That covers every military base, every defense contractor, and every intelligence community support position out there. So it's not just a nice-to-have bonus on your resume. It is the mandatory entry ticket. And let me tell you, that ticket opens some really impressive doors. Take a SOC analyst, for example, where you're basically triaging incidents and hunting threats. That starts at 65 to 85 grand. A security administrator who's out there hardening systems and managing access brings in 75 to 95,000. It also unlocks super interesting roles like junior penetration tester, where you get to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do, or an IT auditor assessing compliance. These aren't made-up roles. These are actual job titles posted on Indeed and LinkedIn right now, today, with Security Plus required stamped right in the description. Let's move to part 2, decoding the 5 domains. Okay, we need to do a quick reality check on the exam itself because it's intense. It is a total sprint. You have up to 90 questions to answer in exactly 90 minutes. It's a mix of multiple choice and what they call performance-based questions, where you'll actually have to configure something in a simulated environment. The passing score is a pretty rigorous 750 out of 900. And here's the kicker. Taking the exam at a Pearson VUE test center or even online with a proctor costs $404. With a price tag like that, yeah, you absolutely want to pass this on the first try. So where do you actually focus your study efforts to make sure you pass? Well, the biggest slice of the pie, at 28%, is security operations. This is the day-to-day stuff, running a SIEM, which is basically your security command center, handling incident response, and managing identity. Next up is threats and vulnerabilities at 22%. Think recognizing phishing scams and those unknown flaws we call 0 days, basically learning to think like an attacker. Then at 20%, you've got security program management, which is the business side of things like compliance and risk. Security architecture makes up 18%. That's designing systems that can survive attacks, focusing on stuff like zero trust and cloud security. And finally, general security concepts at 12%. Now, do not skip this 12% just because it's the smallest chunk. It covers absolutely vital foundations like cryptography and the CIA triad of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Literally every other domain builds on those concepts.
All right, part 3, thinking like a defender. Picture this scenario for a second. You see 200 failed CEO login attempts in 3 minutes, all from different IP addresses. Is this a brute force attack or is it credential stuffing? The thing is, the exam won't just ask you to memorize and define what a firewall does. It hits you with scenario-based logical defense questions exactly like this one. It might even follow up by asking for your very first containment action. Do you lock the account? Do you block the IPs? Or do you check to see if any of the logins actually succeeded? You have to be able to connect the architecture to the operations and then to incident response all inside a single question. Now, how do you get to that level of thinking? Let's go over a quick prerequisite checklist. Honestly, CompTIA doesn't have formal, hard prerequisites for Security Plus. That means you don't legally need another cert or 2 years of on-the-job experience just to sit for the test. But you absolutely need IT fundamentals. You've got to know what an IP address is, what DNS does, how networks generally move data around, and you need at least a passing familiarity with things like Active Directory or Port 443. If those terms sound familiar to you, you are totally ready to jump in. If they don't, no big deal, but you'll probably want to spend a week or so reviewing some basic networking material first.
And that brings us to part 4, your free AI mentor.
You know, the contrast in preparation costs out there is just wild. Getting into a cybersecurity career shouldn't have to start with you dropping $2,000 in prep costs. But traditional boot camps, they'll run you anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. Even just basic self-study courses are usually between $200 and $700. But here's the game changer. The AI Bridge Foundation has built a comprehensive course that costs exactly $0. I'm serious. No paywall, no sneaky, first domain is free and then you subscribe tricks. It's fully backed by a 501c3 nonprofit and it is completely free. And honestly, the coolest part is that it uses an adaptive AI named Ari, which is way better than just staring at a traditional textbook. Unlike some pricey boot camp that forces everyone through the exact same material at the exact same speed, Ari actually adapts to you. First, it tracks your weak spots. Like if you keep mixing up an intrusion detection system with an intrusion prevention system, it notices that. Second, it explains exactly why your wrong answers are wrong, so you're reasoning through the scenarios together. And third, it teaches you the exam traps before test day even happens. For example, it's going to teach you that having 2 passwords is not multi-factor authentication, because both of those are something you know, and it teaches you this before you have to learn the hard way on a $404 exam. So, what does this all mean for you? Are you ready to turn that curiosity into a career and actually step up to defend against the next headline-making data breach? Earning your Security Plus credential is your undeniable proof that you know how to protect systems and manage risk in the real world, not just in theory. With the right roadmap and a completely free AI mentor right there to guide you, the career on the other side is yours for the taking. It's time to get started.